So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, we're looking at Geert Wilders, the possible Prime Minister of the Netherlands, the incoming Prime Minister of the Netherlands. This man recently made some remarks regarding Islam, regarding the Prophet ﷺ, that were not true. And as usual, we are here to present Islam just the way it is, to, inform the people what Islam stands for. And also this man said that the Prophet ﷺ gives sex slaves to his henchmen.
He gave sex slaves as a gift to his henchmen, and he is still today an example for more than 1 billion Muslims worldwide. No wonder that some of his followers take to terrorism.
Again, this is alien to Islam. There's nothing like sex slave in Islam. These are words coined by those people, to dehumanize the Prophet ﷺ, to ridicule Islam, and to say Islam is nothing but, a perfect religion. But then there is slave. And this is how the slave in Islam looks like. Totally different from what we know from the West, okay? In Islam, these slaves have rights in Islam. It is so much so that you might even get scared having a slave. This is what the Prophet ﷺ said regarding, slaves. Abu Huraira reported Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, as saying, when the slave of any amongst you prepares food for him and he serves him after having sat close to and undergoing the hardship of heat, smoke, he should make him, the slave, sit along with him and make him eat along with him. And if the food seems to run short, then he should spare some portion for him from his own share. Another narrator, Daud, said, that is a morsel or two. You see, if you have a slave and you're about eating, this person cooked for you, you're about eating, then you should bring him very close to you to sit alongside with you, and then you should eat alongside with this slave. And if the food is running short, instead of asking him to stand up, you should be the one standing up and sparing some for him. This is how Islam treats slaves. Let's look at the hadith. This one says, the Prophet ﷺ said, your slaves are brothers of yours. Allah has placed them in your hand, and he who has his brother under him, he should feed him with what he eats, and dress him with what he dresses himself, and do not burden them beyond their capacity. And if you burden them beyond their capacities, then help them. You see here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is even instructing us to look at them as our brothers. These are our brothers, and when they are kept under you, you should make sure that you feed them what you eat, clothe them with what you clothe yourself, and then when you give them work beyond their capacities, make sure you help them, make sure you assist them. These are the rights of a slave when it comes to Islam. They are your brothers, okay? Sometimes you don't even have to call them slaves. They are your brother. This is a very long hadith, of Abu Dhar, when someone saw him putting on exactly the clothes his slave was putting on. And then finally this hadith. Abu Mas'ud al-Ansari reported, when I was beating my servant, I heard a voice behind me saying, Abu Mas'ud, bear in mind, Allah has more dominance over you than you have upon him. I turned and found him to be Allah's messenger, may peace be upon him. I said, Allah's messenger, I set him free for the sake of Allah. Thereupon he said, had you not done that, the gates of hell would have opened for you, or fire would have burnt you. I say, subhanallah, this hadith is really scary. And in another one I saw that when you beat your slave, when you beat or you slap your slave, the only expiation for that is for you to free that slave. Now this is not like the one we see in the Bible, the slave is the property of the master. If the master decides to beat the slave, even with a rod, then the slave survives a day or two and eventually dies. Then the master is not blameworthy. This is not the teachings of Islam. This is exactly what Islam stands for. They have rights over you as much as you have over them. This is how we look at slaves. There's nothing like sex slave. These are people we respect. These are our sisters. These are our brothers. And we, give them their right. You might see people doing the opposite today, but then that's not the case when it comes to Islam. Islam has standards, and these people, they don't even understand Islam. They don't read about Islam. They don't read our books. They only come out and start making lots and lots of claims that are not what Islam represents. And again, it is funny how this man claims that the Prophet ﷺ is an example for more than 1 billion followers worldwide. Of course, we see him as an example. This is someone that came and broke the back of racism in Arabia. Arabia before Islam was the hallmark of racism. And this man came and told the Arabs, verily there is no superiority of an Arab over a non-Arab, of a non-Arab over an Arab, or of a red man over a black man, or of a black man over a red man. except in terms of taqwa. And taqwa here means piety, righteousness. So why wouldn't this person be an example for us? Racism is still something that is being fought till this very day in the West. So why wouldn't this man be an example for us? So trying to link this by saying that no wonder Muslims are terrorists or some Muslims are terrorists, it doesn't add up. It doesn't really add up.